Hello humans, it's just Martine, and it's time to squash some series. Squash That Series is one of my favorite readathons, originally created by some of my besties, and this round is run by even more of my besties, and the point is just to focus on squashing series, reading sequels, finishing off series that you've been working on for a while. That's the goal. This round is spring cleaning. There's a house, there are a bunch of prompts and focuses like of each room, and in general I'm chillin'. I just want to read like at least one sequel, but a little on the DL. I do want to try to get a clean sweep, which is where you do a prompt from every room. I wasn't going to do this, and then I was looking through the prompts and I realized I did have a plan for how I would get a clean sweep, so that's probably going to be the attempt. It's Saturday morning, the first day of the readathon. Honestly, the only thing that I know for sure that I'll read today is a short story that I'm reading for a totally other video, but I'll talk about which prompts it fulfills and everything after I read it. There are also reading sprints today for the group, so I'm excited to hang out with everybody. I also have a Junie B. Jones live show today, which that's a series, so it's on theme, if you will, and I also really have to edit a video today. Not the shortest video ever, so I'm probably going to need to give like a pretty substantial amount of time to that. But overall, that's the plan for the day. Let's get going and squash some series. Don't mind me, I've read 50% of the short story that I'm reading today. I've been editing TBR Crime in between. I'm now filming the intro and outro for that and taking thumbnail photos. So progress is being made. My reading will speed up this afternoon, promise. It's just past 1:30. Squash That Series sprints are going to be starting in like 20-ish minutes. And I just finished my first read for this, which I'm reading for my kitchen prompt. The focus of the kitchen is supposed to be series are considering DNFing. So I'm going with the prompt, a sequel to a book that you gave less than 3 stars. I read a short story whose previous book I had given 2.5 stars. I actually gave the last like 2, maybe 3 of these short stories 2.5 stars. And yet I still read this one and gave it 2.5 stars. And as a completionist, will I probably read the rest of these stories? Probably one day, but just to get through them. One room cleaned. A little ironic because I don't think my kitchen itself is actually clean right now, but I have been reading. Happy Sunday! It is actually already 11:30 a.m. and have I read a single page of a sequel today? No, but that's okay. Updates on yesterday's reading. I started Children of the Mind during reading sprints and I got about a third of the way into it, which is way better than I thought I would do. I would say I'll try to finish it today, but I still have like 4 hours left. So if I could get to 66% today, that would be dope. I also started the first volume of Check Please last night, right before I went to bed, because for the prompts about binging a whole series, I'm going to read both volumes of that. It's an easy way to knock it out. And then finally, last night for my ebook, I did start Raven Song by TJ Klune and was immediately confused because I had forgotten all of the characters' names. So I had to look up who they were. Am I reading that for sequel to a 5-star? I don't know. When I'm closer to finishing it, I'll tell you all the prompts that I'm using it for. So I guess the plan for today, I would love to finish the first volume of Check Please so that during the week I can read the second volume. I would like to get to 66% of this book today and any progress that I can make in Raven Song, because although at first I thought this would be my slowest book, I actually think that will, because those books are so addicting. It feels like you haven't been reading for long, but then you look down and it's been like an hour, so they actually take a long time to read in general, so I gotta be wary of that. I actually probably won't get a lot of reading done this afternoon because I have like my family calls, my call with my sister, etc. But by the end of the night, hopefully I'll have made some progress. What was I doing this morning? I was reading for other videos and I went on a nice walk. I made myself breakfast tacos. Happy Sunday to me. Hello, happy Monday. I keep thinking it's like Tuesday or Wednesday or something. It's not. It's Monday. Yesterday, I did manage to finish a book while I was watching sprints. I finished the first volume of Check Please, which is a graphic novel It was originally a webtoon about this wonderful, small, precious, queer pie baking college hockey player named Eric Biddle. Biddy! I'm giving this volume 4.5 stars. The ending was kind of abrupt, which I mean, you know, that happens when you're making a webtoon into like multiple volumes. It's, you know, that's hard. And also, like, I kind of saw the like underlying plot in there, but I would very much not call this first volume a romance. Like, that's one of the first tags on Goodreads. I would disagree. This first one, I don't think that's the main theme of the book. I think it's a coming of age story. I think it's a found family story because I really, really loved the Samwell men's hockey team. They just had such a good vibe. They had each other's backs, like, undeniably, and they were also so accepting of Biddy, which is great because small precious bean, like, he just kind of looks like he won't fit in with them. But no, I really liked all of the characters, and of course I liked the ending. It kind of suggests things are going to ramp up in book 2, although spoiler alert, I already started volume 2 this morning. Oops. And this book starts a prompt, but it doesn't actually finish a prompt because the prompt is to binge a whole series, so the prompt will not be finished until I finish the second volume. Other progress, I am making slow and steady progress on Ravensong, not much. But then the prose book that I've been making a lot of progress in is Children of the Mind. I'm kind of hoping to finish this today because I got to 66% yesterday, so I only have a third of it left. And this is my third day reading it. I feel like it should make sense, but we'll see. I haven't started reading it yet today, so maybe not, but that's the goal. So let's go squash some series. Happy Tuesday. I almost said Thursday because really this week just it feels like that. It feels like that, like time is passing, but it's not. I've lived 4 days in the past 2 days, or 1.5 days, as it were. Yesterday, I finished reading Children of the Mind, which I was using for 2 prompts, I think. I'm using it for a bedroom prompt, which is supposed to focus on intimidating books, and the prompt was lowest rated sequel. Out of the books that I have here with me, this was the lowest rated sequel. I don't have my entire Kindle TBR and everything, or my Libby sequels. I don't have that all in a spreadsheet telling me what's the lowest rated, so I just did the easy way. But I read this, and then I also used it for my closet prompt. The closet's supposed to focus on owned books, and the prompt that this fit was secondhand, because I got this at the last bookstore when I visited Los Angeles. Children of the Mind is the 4th book in the Ender's Saga. Now, originally, it was written to be the conclusion of the Ender Quartet. There are more books, is the point, but technically this is supposed to be the end of like one section of plot. The plot definitely changes from the first book to the 4th. I feel like books 2, 3, and 4 make more sense together than book 1 does with all of them. Nevertheless, like, some things come back from book 1. Even in this one, like, there's one specific reference, think of that as down, that actually made me lose my mind because I was like, it's Ender Wiggin! I love Ender because he's a very smart and yet very compassionate main character. He is scared of the darkness in him and the lengths that he will go to stay safe and to win. I think that makes him such an interesting character. In this one, we are spending a lot of time talking about, like, I guess we spend most of the series talking about what right humans have over the rest of the universe, like the decisions that we make that lead to the downfall of other species. And there were some really, really great quotes about how humans are like the only species that has ever actually knowingly caused harm to another species without trying to communicate with them in any way or give them a warning of some kind, which is kind of referring to events that happen in the first book, but also just feels so true. This book really paints humans as the primary aggressor of the universe, and I think that's such an interesting framing and one that I love thinking about. So I loved all the quotes about that. This series also gives us the chance to figure out, like, What are people known for? What does that tell us about them as people? What do people want to be known for instead? Because of the events of the first book, Ender is like this almost mythical, messianic type of being. He's so famous and known for his intellect and wisdom that honestly, seeing how other characters respond to him is very enlightening. I feel like Ender himself is not necessarily a relatable character, but he brings out relatable aspects in others. Anyway, so I really enjoyed this one. I'm giving it 4 stars. Not my favorite in the series. I don't think anything could usurp the first book for that, but overall, I was satisfied with the conclusion of this book. So, hooray! I won't lie to you, I'm feeling pretty victorious today. It's Thursday and I have a lot to catch you up on for Squash That Series, but also today I sent a huge revision over to my major professor, so that feels great. Hooray. Things are happening in work and in Squash That Series. That's what we like to see. Okay, so here's the update. Yesterday, I finished 2 books. I finished Check Please Book 2, Sticks and Scones, which I'm giving 4 stars. I didn't like it quite as much as the first one, but I still really adore the characters, especially seeing the main character graduate college. That was emotional. So I had a really good time with that one. But in terms of prompts, that's covering the dining room prompt to binge an entire series, because I read book 1 and 2. That's the whole thing, the whole shebang. So read that whole series this week. Hooray. And then I'm also using it for the living room prompt of a sequel that works for another challenge, because it works for at least one of the readathons that I'm participating in over at Bookish Reality. For Bookish Reality Academy spring semester, it's going to fulfill 2 of my art requirements. So that's great. And then yesterday I also finished Supernova. I don't know that I told you I started this, but that's because I started it not yesterday, but the day before. And on Tuesday I read half of it, and then yesterday I read the second half, and here I am now. And that's because it's a YA with like barely any words per page, right? This is one of those books that I can read like 100 or more pages per hour. It's a fast one. And I knew it would be, which is why I wasn't worried about it at all this week, because the first book was that same way. This is the second and last book in a YA sci-fi duology. It starts with the book Light Years. Anyway, it's by the same author as The 100. That doesn't mean anything to me because I've never read those books, but I know that that's her popular series. I'm giving this book 4 stars, and I'm using it for the hallway prompt to finish a series that you're closest to finishing, because I knew I only had this 1 book left and that it would be a quick read, so I sped on through it. In this series, we're following 4 different characters, and they're all going to this battle flight academy thing. They all have their different reasons. At least 2 of them are pretending to be somebody that they're not. There's lots of romance and intrigue and all of those things in this series. In general, I just find it addictively easy to read. Like, my brain just coasts through the writing. I'm following along. That was even the case. I don't know how long it's been since I read the first book, but like, it's been a minute, and I was worried that I would have no idea what was happening, because all that I remember from the last book was that the ending had a cliffhanger and it was crazy. So I went in and I was like, I don't remember what was happening, and they don't directly tell you everything that happened, especially all at once. You kind of find out as you move from perspective to perspective, but I did have pretty strong memories once they like gave me some cues about some of the things that happened in the first book, which is really rare for me. I feel like even if they tell me specifically what happened, sometimes I'll be like, that's cool that happened. I don't remember that. But this time they mentioned something and I was like, oh yeah, that's when this happened and this happened and this happened. So I don't know why, but this book and this series in general just works really well with my brain. I love academy settings. And even though like the stakes were raised in this one, they were still largely in the academy setting. Like, not in the same way that they were in the first book, but like they didn't get rid of the academy. You know, we still revolved around the academy, which I appreciated. Yep, those are really all my thoughts about it. It's a fun read. It's a quick read. Nothing too serious. I mean, like, for the characters, it is serious, right? But for me, I'm just skipping along reading this. So super glad that I got around to this, since I purchased this at a local used bookstore, like right after I read the first book, thinking that I would read this quickly. And then, of course, I didn't. So here we are now, and I'm glad I finally got around to it, and that I also enjoyed it, so that I can keep the whole duology together. But that means I only have 1 more prompt that I want to read for, 1 more room in the house to clean, and I have already started that book. It's just going to take me a while to finish it, so I'll update you when something happens. Happy Friday. It's the last day of Squash That Series. My only reading goal for today for Squash That Series is to finish Raven Song, which I'm using for a prompt for the backyard where we're reading borrowed books, and I'm reading a sequel to a 5-star because I gave Wolf Song 5 stars. Raven Song is the sequel to that. I'm currently like 77%, I want to say, something around there. A little past 75% is what I'll say. I have like 2 hours left of reading to go, which I can totally do. I just need to actually focus on doing it. And so far it's good. It's not as good as Wolf Song, but I knew it probably wouldn't be. And it is hard because it feels like this is my slowest read of the whole readathon. And so like having to get through a couple hours of it today is rough. But I got through a couple hours of it yesterday, so it could be worse. I'm going to go read, have therapy, live my life, and I'll come back with a review of Raven Song and some final thoughts on this round of Squash That Series. We did it. Hey, we did it. I just finished Raven Song by TJ Klune, which I'm giving 4 stars because we're technically following a different main character in this one. We're following Gordo, and he's cool, but it's not the same as following Ox and Joe, is all I have to say. The plot of this series does keep getting crazier and crazier, though. So it's a lot. This series is about werewolves, which you can probably tell because the first book is called Wolf Song. And the reason this one is called Raven Song is because one of the characters is a witch and has tattoos of ravens, and those tattoos are magic. Yep. And I feel like, so there was a lot of plot in the first book, but I do feel like, how to say this? The relationship we followed in the first book was more interesting than this one. This one was just a lot of angst, but you didn't really see that much of a connection that would warrant the level of angst that was felt, if that makes any sense. The characters we were focusing on in this book, it didn't really feel like they had chemistry the same way that I felt like the characters in the first book had. And maybe that's because I'm used to the dynamics in this series between all the characters now, but it didn't feel the same. So that's unfortunate, but it's still a great book, and TJ Klune's just great. So 4 stars it is. And with that, this round of Squash That Series has come to an end. I'll sign off here. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what's one sequel that you've been putting off that you want to get to soon, and subscribe for more bookish and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!